Dawson Kemper, Director of Agronomy and Research here at Liqui-Grow.
Hi, I'm Katie Hess, Director of Sales and Marketing here at Liqui-Grow. Jake, the weather's starting to warm up, and we're inside today. We're standing in front of some corn, and oftentimes we are thinking about pre-emerges this time of the year, and we're thinking about that product that should we add it in or not, and it's atrazine.
Yep, yes. Atrazine is a really important herbicide, and unfortunately, Waterhemp in the state of Iowa and probably many parts of the country is becoming resistant to atrazine.
Not something we want to hear.
Not something we want to hear. And let's back up for a second and just say that, yes, Waterhemp is becoming resistant to atrazine, but it's a problem in many of our herbicide sites of action. You know, we could list them off. Let's just list them. Glufosinate, PPO inhibitors, 2,4-D, glyphosate, ALS inhibitors, HPPD, PPO inhibitors. I think I got them all. So somewhere in the U.S., a population of Waterhemp has become resistant to one or a combination of those sites of action. So the bottom line is we need to always be thinking about what's the next thing, what's another herbicide we can use to combat Waterhemp, okay? And so if we get a little more specific about Iowa in general, 90+% of the population of Waterhemp in Iowa are resistant to glyphosate, probably the same thing for ALS inhibitors. A good chunk are resistant to atrazine alone, and PPO inhibitors. Now we're starting to see the resistance to HPPD inhibitors grow, like Callisto, Lotus, right? So we're starting to see that grow. Back in 2000, and that's been our main control mechanism for Waterhemp for a while now. Back in 2011, there was a survey done of 200 fields in the state of Iowa, and 38 to 40% of those 200 samples were resistant to HPPD inhibitors. That's a little bit alarming. And now we're in 2023, so I'd hate to guess what it might be today, okay? Now, that is when you only applied an HPPD inhibitor, okay? When you start adding atrazine and glyphosate and other sites of action, the control was much better, right? But that tells us that resistance is building, okay? So there's many options that you can think about to help control Waterhemp, but one new option is a herbicide called Tough.
Which is actually not a new option.
It's actually correct. It's actually not a new option. It's been around for a long time, used in other crops. Okay?
Yeah.
But a company has brought it and got it labeled for use in corn. Now, Tough is very similar to atrazine. It's a photosystem 2 inhibitor. It's in the same chemical class.
Which we call a PS2.
Which we call a PS2 inhibitor, that's correct. And that's what atrazine is.
Not a PlayStation 2.
Not a PlayStation, yes, not a PlayStation 2.
Also a throwback.
Right, that's fun. But yes, so atrazine and Tough are both photosystem 2 inhibitors.
Right.
But Tough binds to a different site within the PS2 category.
Is it far enough away from the atrazine that the Waterhemp's gonna not recognize?
There is no cross resistance.
Okay.
There is no resistance confirmed to the site of action Tough uses.
So when would you use Tough in season, in crop?
Tough would be a post-emergence herbicide additive, okay? So if you notice you're having trouble controlling Waterhemp with HPPD inhibitors and atrazine, because remember, those two combinations together are extremely effective. If you want to know kind of why that is, we'll post a link to a video I made last summer kind of talking about the details of that. But in brief today, those two herbicides together are very effective.
So
okay?
Jake, if you think you could have resistance, could you almost use atrazine first pass, Tough second pass?
No. What you're going to want to do, what the data suggests, is you're going to want to add Tough on top of atrazine and HPPD inhibitor.
Okay.
So if you add Tough on top of an HPPD inhibitor and atrazine, that's going to increase the control level, okay? So that's the direction we should go, okay? Tough doesn't have any residual, so you still want the atrazine in there for the residual. You're just going to have to add it, all right?
Okay.
So really, that's the idea here. Contact your Liqui-Grow representative for more information about Tough and how you ought to use it.
Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Stay in the know with Liqui-Grow.